On day 12, the festival presented the UK premiere of W.E., a film about the notorious Wallis Simpson, whose romance with Edward VIII is juxtaposed with that of a woman in contemporary New York. On hand were key cast members and the film's director, Madonna.
Wallis, what's wrong?
Lunch with your brother and sister-in-law.
They are rather dull, aren't they?
They'll never accept me.
You're going to let Bertie and Elizabeth dictate our future?
It isn't just Bertie and Elizabeth, it's everyone.
It won't be once we're married.
David, let's stop all this talk about marriage. It frightens me and I can't see any good coming of it.
That period of history is important, and then also, you know, trying to understand the nature of their relationship and why he would give up such a powerful position, trying to understand what she had, what was her pull, what was so magnetic about her.
Well, it's a great story. You know, it's either this crazy man completely absents himself from his brain and gives up the throne to Great Britain, or it's the greatest love story of the 20th century.
I've remained enamored with the story, and I just knew that there must be another side to it. So I figured that 75 years after the abdication, it was time to look again and revise the story. And sure enough, I have found new material, and we do have a new view on Wallis Simpson.
I researched, well, everything about the royal family, starting from Queen Victoria up to the Windsors. And then, of course, I read every book ever written about the Duchess and Edward, and interviewed people who were still alive that knew her.
It's not a biopic. I mean, it is very much subjective. It's an opinionated piece on Wallis and Edward. We're not trying to tell a biographical fact. We're trying to give a sense of what their lives were like.
London crowd stands stunned at the almost unbelievable news.
What are you thinking about?
King and Emperor prepares to publicly renounce his throne for the woman he loved.
What it must feel like to be loved that much.
And what is your definition of love?
He gave up everything for her.
I made the film here, and it's, you know, essentially about British history. So fingers crossed everyone will like it.
At BFI South Bank, prolific British director Michael Winterbottom took part in the final screen tour, presented in partnership with American Express.
Some of those things that you've talked about in relation to, you know, why India and that sort of rural community, was there a sense that, you know, the changes from kind of tradition to modernity were happening, you know, in a way that meant you sort of needed to get on and make it now?
No, I mean, the reason we made it now was sort of coming back to it, and I worked with Riz Ahmed on a film called The Road to Guantanamo, and I thought that Riz would be a kind of great person to play the kind of the part of Jay. And then I met Frida, and so really having kind of met the two of them, so I just felt they'd be right for the part. So that was really the motive for doing it, is that they both wanted to make the film, so we then tried to make the film with them.
And for the last time, Sandra Hebron presented that great London Film Festival tradition, the surprise film.
It really will be not what some of you are expecting. Lots of you will love it, some of you probably won't. Again, I think that's probably in the order of surprise films, but even if you think that you won't like it, I would ask you to just give it a bit of your time and see.